Hey tribe, how are you? I felt really inspired to talk about creativity today based on John's flow of creativity, making music, expressing ourselves, sharing of ourselves through our creative channels, right? And of course, we know this, how those creative channels look for all of us are different. For some of us, we will make songs. For some of us, we might move our bodies around. For some of us, we might speak. We might create through tuning in, right? And there is really this sense of our creativity is pretty effortless from within ourselves. So I think for me, there is an upbringing around rightness and wrongness, right? That unless I'm good at something, I can't be creative, or if unless. So for me, something that I enjoy doing is actually going and have singing lessons. And I had a massive block around singing for many, many years, and it's not like there's this sort of exceptional diva songstress voice, but there's a joy in singing. There is a healing. There is a therapy even in our singing, and so oftentimes we can overcome or get through these blocks and be creative simply for the joy of being creative, right? I know that having sessions with some of you journaling and writing stuff down is a creative expression. For some of us, even making our vision boards or um, making videos, right? We have so many channels. Randomly, I'm thinking things like doing our hair, doing our makeup, adorning ourselves, making clothes. We obviously have Team Love launching these courses, right? And a big part of for Katie in creating the Zenful Zero Waste course was having these flips in mind about creativity and having creative solutions to apparent problems or apparent blocks or obstacles, right? And so there's another big piece around creativity is that creativity really is coming from a kind of open voidal space of solution mindset. It's this point of attraction that there aren't really any problems, that everything around us is self-created, right? And so anything that we face up against as self, that if there's a problem or a block or an issue or whatever, that we have within us the infinite creative capacity to be adaptable and to move around that. And I mean, that's really relevant to this whole idea of a global paradigm shift and mass spiritual awakening. It's awakening to the fact that we have solutions to all of these problems, and that we're the creators of the problems, and so of course we can rise above and make solutions. um, it just requires us to broaden our perspective. It requires us to look at things from a more aerial view, right? From a higher perspective. And adaptability is a big part of the piece. Like, even in a very basic way, we look at evolution, and evolution and survival in that regard has a lot to do with an adaptability, not the strongest, not the most forceful, but creatures that are the most adaptable. So fluidity. And actually that makes sense regarding the fact that a big part of this sway is us acknowledging our emotions, our water body, the our waterways in this form, and recognizing our conscious imprint on those waterways through accessing higher inspirational thought, being more loving. When we're more loving to the cells of our body, when we're more loving to ourselves, that is ultimately what purifies the cellular body through tears, through feeling those emotional storms and those energies move through us. We alchemize our bodies, we transform our bodies so that they become the light-filled expressions that we know or desire them to be. Hence the disparity we feel through our upbringing and whatever choices we make, right, to be imprinted by certain densities so that we can learn the opposing force. So if we're imprinted by struggle, suffering, body hatred, difficult relationships, a lack of love or a lack of freedom, then we can imprint ourselves with those themes and challenges as part of our own learning. And then obviously when we learn one, we learn the polarity, right? So if we're coming in and there's suffering and this and that, it's because part of our beingness is desiring to choose and to feel and experience the other. So if we've had a lot of suffering, we'll hit that bottom point and then we'll move into greater joyful expression. If we've had a lot of hatred and self-loathing, with increasing love, we can continue to feel or know what it's like to love the bodies that we're in. If we felt a lack of freedom in our lives due to a poverty or due to a lack of, then we learn about lack through consciousness and contraction in our bodies so that we can learn the other of fluid abundance and expansive flow. It's all right there in our creativity, right? Because our creativity is really linked to the idea that you are the creator of your own reality. And yet this spiraling process of unraveling the conditions, the fearful projections against our reality, so our ability to keep facing those and working with that energy is ultimately how we unravel it all and then become more in the present moment, where we begin to manifest more accurately our so-called dreams, or our I guess I said so-called dreams because I'm like, can we distinguish reality, dream? Is there a difference? I don't know. We're just beings having an experience, right? So we move through our own experience, and as our perspective shifts, we just have different ways of relating to ourselves within this experience. So in essence, everything that we are is a relationship to that energy stream, whether people, places, things, obviously from within ourselves. So we have our own relationship with money, our own relationship with people, with romance, with our bodies, with our social environments, with the places we live, and we can really highlight and look at the different aspects of resistance we may or may not have to those things in our lives, or to those little compartments. And we could spend time really just going through these different aspects and looking at, what do we believe or what do we feel about, say, money, or about our bodies, or about our social circle, or about our friends, and then root out from within ourselves those little aspects of resistance that block or hold us against that desire manifestation of a free flow. So we're feeling joyful and radiant in our bodies. We're in total union and acceptance with the totality of who we are. And then through that total acceptance, we can continue to refine into the subtleties of our manifestation ability and our creatorship, because it's all really coming from this innocent, beautiful place of desiring more love and compassion in the world. And yet we know it all starts inside. It all starts in our own heart, that we can channel with as much compassion and love as possible these creative expressions to help us ride out those roller coasters, right? Or to really help us ride out. And I know that's so much what I've turned to in my journey, like the ups and downs. I was like, thank God I had my dancing or my yoga or like my writing, because those pillars for me really got me through, as does the speaking now. So I really appreciate you guys. I hope that was somehow useful to you. Feel free to comment, make notes, and try some of those exercises. How are you relating to different aspects of your life? So how is your relationship with money? How is your relationship with men and or women? How is your relationship with your body? How is your relationship with your friends, family, society, and all of that kind of stuff? I'd be interested to know. I've had some really cool insights lately. I look forward to talking to you guys real soon. Take care. Bye.